What's up everyone, my name is Abby, I like to read, and today I'm going to be talking about all the books that I read in the month of August. So I realized that we are almost all the way through September, but better late than ever. So in August I ended up reading a total of 15 books, which I'm actually really proud of. Now a lot of them were audiobooks that I listened to during work. But hey, it's still reading. We don't audiobook shame here. So yeah, I'm going to be going through all the books and letting you know what I thought about them. So I'm going to be starting with all of my audiobooks. I have 5 from the same series, and that is the Steel and Stone series by Annette Marie. So I started re-listening to this last month, and so this month I finished out the rest of the series. So that is the third book, which is Yield the Night. I gave this 4 stars. Then there was a 3.5 kind of novella called Feed the Flames. I gave this 2 stars. It did not really add much to the story. It was basically the point of view from 2 different characters. Like in the previous book, they went through something. We didn't get to see it. This was just seeing what they went through. I didn't think it added much to the story. The 4th book in that series was called Reap the Shadows. I gave this 4 stars. It was okay. Nothing spectacular. And then the 5th book in this series was called Unleash the Storm. I gave this 3 stars. The ending was weird. Obviously not going to give spoilers, but it really wasn't as closed as I wanted it to be. It was left kind of very open, and I know that she is maybe going to write more in that universe with those characters, but I just thought I just wanted more. I was like, what? That's really how you're gonna end it? So that is why I gave that 3 out of 5 stars. Hi friends, it is Editing Abby here. I realized that I left out a whole entire book, and that is the Steel and Stone companion book. It is basically a extra book with different POVs from characters in the series Steel and Stone by Annette Marie, Annette, one of those. And I gave it 2 stars. Didn't really enjoy it that much. I don't think it really added a lot. So, sorry I left that one out for y'all. The next book I read was The Serpent and the Wings of Night by Carissa Broadbent. This is the first book in the series. I gave this book 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. This author, Carissa Broadbent, is the same author that did Daughter of No Worlds, and I really enjoyed that series. Also listened to an audiobook, so I decided to give this one a shot too. Really, really loved it. Very much like Twilight meets Hunger Games, but more adult and better written. It's, was the first book in the series. It did it on a cliffhanger. I'm very excited to read the next book. The next book actually is out in print. However, the audiobook doesn't come out until October, so I have to wait until then, which is really frustrating. But because the cliffhanger was just crazy things happened. And I just really enjoyed the book. I wasn't expecting the end, so I'm really excited to see what happens in the second book. The next 5 audiobooks that I listened to are all in the same series. That is the Air Awakens series. The first book was Air Awakens. I gave this 4 stars. I think the first time I listened to this was all a re-listen. The first time I listened to this, I gave it 5 stars, but I think the second time around, I'm a little older. I've kind of have, more wisdom. I'm more mature, and so I think some of the predicaments and lack of communication between characters was just kind of frustrating to me. So I did knock off 1 star from my original listen of this book. The second book was Fire Falling. I did give this one 5 stars. The third book was Earth's End. Also gave this 5 stars. I love this series. The reason why I'm really listening to it is so I can finish the sequel series, which I had started but not finished, and I didn't remember what happened, so I just wanted to start all the way over. And I just like this series. I love the characters. This is one of those series where it's very character driven. You get really attached, not even to just the main characters, but all the characters involved. You see them go through growth, you see them through this life journey, and I love it. The fourth book was Water's Wrath, and I gave this 4 stars. I think that this was maybe because at this point in the audiobook series, they changed the narrator, and one thing that was really odd was they changed how they pronounce several of the character names, 2 of them being the main protagonists. Both main protagonists, they changed how they pronounce their names. And I don't understand how you could have recorded the first 3 books pronouncing the names wrong. How is the author not involved in this? I don't know, I don't understand it, but I didn't enjoy this narrator quite as much. I didn't really enjoy the different voices. There wasn't a huge distinction between voices. It was just getting a little bit confusing, and yeah, just not quite as much of an enjoyable experience as the first 3 books. The last book, Crystal Crown, I did give 5 stars. I was a little bit more used to the new audio narrator. But one thing I did notice is in this audiobook, this is the complete series audiobook. So in Audible, you can either buy 1 through 5 separately, or there is a audiobook that you can buy with, if you're a member of Audible. It's really handy because instead of using 5 credits, you're just using 1, but basically all the series in 1 audiobook. And the last book of that, like when I got to the 5th book of that whole audiobook, some of the chapters were not in the correct order. So I remember being confused on one chapter and then being like, that's kind of odd. They just kind of skipped over some things. And then later on I was like, oh, that chapter should have been over here. So that was my only kind of complaint. Had nothing to do with the actual book, just kind of the weird glitch in the audiobook itself. The remaining 4 books are all physical copies. And the first one is House of Sky and Breath by Sarah J. Maas. It's the 2nd book in the Crescent City series. I have been in the middle of reading this since this book came out. And this is gonna be sad. It came out, what is it, March 2022. So I've been reading this book for over a year. So for that reason, I could not give it 5 stars. I don't know. I couldn't justify giving a book that had taken me over a year to read 5 stars. So I gave this 4 stars. Obviously, I loved it. I thought it was really good. Love Sarah J. Maas, all-time favorite author. I already knew the spoiler at the end of this book, how it ended. I don't like not knowing spoilers, so I will go and actually read spoilers. Usually I'll read the last page of a book before I read the first page. So I knew what was gonna happen, so I wasn't super surprised, but it was cool to finally see the lead up to how that came to be. The next book I read was Obsession by Jennifer L. Armentrout. This is a standalone, but it's in the universe of the Lux series. And it is new adult or adult. It's not, the Lux series is YA. This is a step above that. There's some spiciness in here. And I gave this book 3 stars. It just felt very rushed. It's a pretty small book. It's only like 300 pages. It felt very rushed. The romance between the characters, I didn't really believe it. It was so rushed. And Hunter, I'm gonna be honest, the main character, the main love interest, kind of creepy. Not even kind of. He's really creepy. Some of the stuff he did, I would have been like, please get away with me, you weird stalker. I don't know. I was not like into that kind of stuff. So yeah, only 3 stars for me. This was also a reread. I had read this before. I just wanted to tab it. Next, I have Wicked by Jennifer L. Armentrout, also a reread for me. I've read this whole series. If you don't know, I am rereading all of my Jennifer L. Armentrout books to tab them because she's one of my favorite authors, and I just want to have the physical copies tabbed. So there you have it. I gave this book 3 stars. Once again, Ren, main protagonist, kind of creepy. I don't know, the things he said was just kind of cringy. I enjoyed this book still. It's kind of like a guilty pleasure of mine, but I would not be falling for Ren. I would think that he was creepy stalker, please get away from me. Just not really into it. Also, it may have been that I was picturing the movie. There is a movie, this book. The movie is very word for word from the book, which is cool, but also, like, I don't think it translated very well from the book to the movie. And in the movie, he's also pretty creepy, so it's sad, but yep, those are just my thoughts. The last book that I read in the month of August is A Broken Blade by Melissa Blair. This is the first book in the Halfling saga. I really enjoyed this book. I gave it 5 stars. If you want to know more of my in-depth thoughts, I do have a video review on this book. I will link it in the description down below. But yeah, really enjoyed it. 5 stars. I bought the second book and I am looking forward to reading that soon. So those are all the books that I read in the month of August. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Comment down below if you read any of these books. What were your thoughts? Subscribe if you want to see more content, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys. What's up, everyone? My name is Abby. I like to read, and today I'm gonna... The next book I read was Obsession by Jennifer Almer... Ugh. 1 sec, my grandma's calling.